My name is Trish Hammond, and I am the special effects makeup artist for the Coldest serving.
How did you become interested in SFX makeup?
When I was around 11 or 12, I discovered a YouTuber who does special effects makeup called Glam and Gore, and I watched all of her videos, and then I started buying the products myself when I was 12. And ever since then, I've just been really passionate about it.
This is quite a violent film. Were you excited when you agreed to do it?
Absolutely. There is absolutely nothing in the world I love more than simulated violence and gore, which is actually really funny because I am a vegetarian and very peaceful in general. But I just love human anatomy and gore and makeup and stuff, and so it is just my favorite thing in the world to do. So I was so excited when Xavier reached out and messaged me for the movie.
Walk me through the process of making the violence in this film look as real as possible.
For most of the physical wounds, I used Maron gelatin, which I had to microwave and let cool down before I put on people. And I used that to shape the wound, and I used a Narrative Cosmetics palette and a Skin Illustrated palette to paint them. I mixed my own blood using just cheapo blood and tincture powder, which is a hack I learned from someone in the industry.
What was the hardest wound, the hardest kind of wound to apply?
The hardest wound to apply was definitely the exit wound for the GSW. Every single exit wound looks different because of the entry wound and the bullet that goes through. Every single exit wound is so unique to the way that it exits the body. So if it goes fast or slow or goes sideways, up front. So it's hard to replicate something so organic and make it, not pretend, but you're replicating something that's so random and by chance.
Did you have a favorite day on set?
My favorite day on set was fight scenes because I got to be involved on set, and I was in the shed doing work. I was hands-on in between filming, and it gives you such a rush to be really involved instead of just, I do makeup and then I leave. It was so exciting to be a part of it.
Since you're a special effects person, you're like really big on like gore and makeup and things like that. Is there a particular other piece of media or a series perhaps that you sort of like look up to as like the magnum opus of like gore effects in film?
The Saw series will always be everything to me because of just the sheer amount of disgustingness and gore. And I will always love any indie horror film as well because I know what goes into making them. And I think that making a film is such a labor of love and you have to be passionate to make a good film. And I think there are a few indie films such as the Poughkeepsie tapes, one of my favorites. Again, disgusting, violent. Don't watch if you have a weak stomach. But movies like that where you can just tell that the people who made it loved what they were doing, amazing to me.
Were there any scenes that were difficult for you in regards to making it look real?
I practiced exit wounds for gunshot wounds or GSWs for weeks before I had to do one for the production, and I did find it very challenging to make it look realistic. I do think that it definitely could have been better in overall production, but I did try my best. I think that was the most challenging for me to make look realistic. I spent weeks researching and practicing, and it still wasn't what I would have wanted it to be. Okay. But it did look very good and realistic.
What scene in the film were you most excited to do SFX for?
I was most excited to do a scene where a character gets their throat slashed. Something about it just is so exciting to me, to all the blood and grossness. I just love it.
How has this production impacted your life?
When I found out that I was going to be a part of this production, I messaged my boss and was like, this takes priority, because for so long I was a costume designer this year for school instead of a makeup designer, and I hadn't done special effects makeup since October when I worked with a haunted house. So it just really reignited my passion for special effects makeup, and I spent tons of money buying stuff, and I'm so happy I did. I was so excited to do this production, so excited for the opportunity, and I'm just so grateful that I was a part of something like this, and I could just do what I'm passionate about with people that are amazing to work with, and create something that I'm so proud of.
Why should people watch this film?
This film was such a labor of love. It really was just put together by people who had nothing but passion. And the end result, if you saw what we were working with, like the materials we had, you would be amazed. This film in general just is about, in an insane way, the love between sisters, and it just really stands for something so, I wouldn't say beautiful because there is murder and that's not good, but something so powerful that I think everyone can relate to and understand.